We want to go back to 1992, my first ever appearance on Nightline. It happened to be a discussion of global warming with Al Gore. This was before he was vice president. This was February 4th of 1992. Ted Koppel. Joining us is Senator Al Gore, whose new book is Earth in the Lurch, Earth in the Balance, and Rush Limbaugh, whose syndicated radio shows heard around the country. There is, Senator Gore, growing feeling. I don't want to say it represents anything approaching a majority yet, but a growing feeling that sometimes the environmentalists are putting the spotted owl and the snail darter ahead of human beings.
We now face a global ecological crisis that is more serious than anything human civilization has ever faced. And there's a problem of scale here. To discuss the friction in the passage and implementation of some of the laws on the local environment, and to weigh at the same time that against this unprecedented global crisis, I think presents a problem of scale.
Koppel said, Rush, I've listened to you many afternoons, as you know. I don't want to say you dismiss all these issues, but at least you dismiss them as having been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
There is not a crisis. See, this is the problem I have. I don't think the Earth is fragile. I don't think the ecology is fragilely balanced. And I think that the doomsday industry that is typified by members of the Hollywood acting community who say we've only got 10 years left to save our planet, we've got to act now. There's no way, if what these people say is true, that we could solve these problems in 10 years anyway. Everything in this country today seems to be a crisis. We can't do anything without it, having to face it as a crisis. We don't have any time to think about it. There are as many scientists, and maybe even more, on the opposite side of all of these doomsday predictions, and I think that they need to be listened to again. Oh, yes, there are.
The question of whether or not the Earth is fragile. Are we, as human beings, now capable of doing serious damage to the global environment? That's really the key difference.
Do you think we are?
Yes, I think so. I think three things have changed in our lifetimes, incidentally. Number one, the population explosion now adds the entire population of China every 10 years. Number two, we've got new technologies we never had before, like chlorofluorocarbons, which magnify our impact on the Earth. Just as nuclear weapons transformed warfare, these thousands of new technologies that magnify our ability to exploit the Earth change our relationship to the Earth.
So Koppel then said, Rush Limbaugh, we've both run into politicians during our careers who know how to fake it on an issue. I don't know of anybody up on Capitol Hill who is more knowledgeable on the subject of the environment than Al Gore. You have to take seriously what he says.
The environmental movement, as fueled by the militants who need it, I think is the new home of socialism. I think it is, they've adopted a constituency here which can't speak. That is trees and rocks and so forth, and can't reject the so-called help and concern that the advocates are giving it, and it gives them a stage from which to constantly launch attacks at capitalism. If you listen to what Senator Gore said, it is man-made products which are causing the ozone depletion, yet Mount Pinatubo has put 570 times the amount of chlorine into the atmosphere in one eruption than all of man-made chlorofluorocarbons in 1 year. And the ultraviolet radiation measured on this country's surface since 1974 has shown no increase whatsoever.
1992 is 17 years ago.